Being that I'm probably the single most educational channel on YouTube, I mean, I just made a whole philosophical analysis on Mikasa's ass, and I think I've inspired thousands. I have taken my time to compile a list of 5 early signs of a garbage anime protagonist. I recently made a video, 5 early signs of a garbage anime, created purely so you could know what you're getting into at any given moment and you don't have to consult the Nux individually, and well, you wanted more because you are all intellectuals that want to grow in knowledge and deepen your understandings of the medium. Very cool. And this video will also be extremely educational and not at all meme or satire. If you think it is, then you probably missed the point entirely. So here's 5 early signs of a garbage anime protagonist. 15,000 likes and you're getting 5 early signs of a garbage anime villain within the week. Dead giveaway of a garbage anime protagonist number 1 if he's original. If I'm looking at a character and he has some form of original storyline, I don't know, maybe he doesn't want to be the greatest hero, strongest wizard, or very best Pokemon trainer there ever was, you know there's a problem. If he does not follow the exact same formula as his predecessors, this is somebody that you're going to want to steer away from, and it will potentially ruin your entire experience. As we know, we are creatures of habit, and we want to watch as similar of a story as many times as possible. Naruto's a kid who sucks, but the good news is he has the 9-tailed fox as his super ultra power, which gives him an edge on everybody else and allows him to rise in ranks until eventually he becomes the Hokage. My Hero Academia has Deku, a kid who is powerless, but then he gets a power which gives him an edge in order to rise in the ranks and become the #1 hero. And you have Black Clover with Asta, a kid who's powerless, but then anti-magic stuff, allowing him to rise in the ranks and hopefully eventually become the Wizard King. If I do not see the same exact story threads in separate anime, I know that this is a bad sign. If I see a protagonist that's trying to be original, well then steer the F away. The most original anime protagonist I can think of lately is from Shield Hero. I mean, Naofumi is your very not quintessential anime protagonist. Gets trapped in a world, gets falsely accused for some heinous act that ruins his life, and he turns down a dark path, acting in the way he needs to, even if it's not the most polite and hero-like. So these are definitely original steps taken, which is why this anime got blasted on all forms of social media. Anime News Network attacked it for being different. How dare it actually tell a story that doesn't follow the exact same tropes as other anime, with a protagonist that doesn't follow the exact same tropes as other anime protagonists. When I watch an isekai anime, I want an anime character trapped in a world beloved by all, with a magic smartphone that gives him infinite power, an exceptionally large harem with many different archetypes of women in there, where he's insanely overpowered and beloved by all. I do not want this outcast shiz happening. How dare they? I mean, I don't really mind if anime talk about murder and stuff and there's gory deaths everywhere, but a false accusation for rape? Well, that is way too original for my taste, and that's a red flag as far as anime protagonists. That's why Gundam works so well. It's like 14 billion series of guys piloting giant robots in these political space action shows, and all the protagonists are the same. Well, they're not the same character, but they're all these guys that are slightly stoic, that are smart and tactical and shiz, and even though they're all different characters, being that none of them are original compared to one another, that's what makes it work. I mean, just look at recent anime and you'll see that generic equals brilliant. Because Eren Yeager, in the beginning of Attack on Titan, not manga stuff, but I'm not talking manga stuff. Manga stuff didn't happen yet in the anime. Eren's a pussy bitch. He's your typical revenge-driven shonen protagonist that wants to take down the Titans because he freaking hates them. That is a big green check as far as protagonists go. I don't want to see something different. Then you have someone like Goblin Slayer, a guy who had a tortured backstory that drove him to a point of near insanity where his only living passion is to exterminate goblins. Goblins that, even though he does not get fame or honor by defeating these lowly creatures, he's doing something that must be done. Goblins torture villages and kidnap women. He is doing a valiant deed despite the fact that he gets no recognition for it. He is a fascinating protagonist, which is why Goblin Slayer gets tons of shiced. Everyone blasts Goblin Slayer. How dare they try something new like that? Despicable. If I don't see a protagonist with regular brown hair that gets a harem, maybe gets trapped in another world, but you know, not even necessary. That is what I want to see. That is a sign of a good anime protagonist. If an anime protagonist protagonist looks original, that is an early sign for a garbage protagonist. Sign number 2, if he gets pussy. Now, I don't want this to be taken out of context at all, because as a getting pussy advocate, I think it would be abhorrent to make it seem like this is something praiseworthy. However, in an anime protagonist, if he's actually banging his harem of bitches that want to be banged, well, then this is someone that we do not want to stand beside in our quest for glory. We want an anime protagonist who, despite the fact that he's covered in women, we need to make sure that he has no physical contact with any of them unless that physical contact is by accident. Look at Kazuma from Konosuba. Surrounded by women, they all want a piece of him, but he remains a virgin, even though he tries to get laid. That is a brilliant anime protagonist. Look at Naruto. Hinata's chasing him. Look at Luffy. Boa's chasing him. Look at Ichigo. Orihime and Rukia are fighting over him. Even Uraraka in My Hero Academia wants to get Detroit smashed. We have to make sure that the protagonist does not get laid, because if he gets laid, he does not serve as a proper receptacle for our fantasies. He is someone that we have to relate to. We, as an otaku mass who are assumed to be virgins, and I say assumed purely not to hurt my own self-esteem, we can't see our protagonist get laid, no matter how many characters want his D. And it's not like this is a weird happenstance to happen once in a blue moon. Literally every anime will give the protagonist the ability to smash whoever the flip he wants, and he will not do it provided he's a good protagonist. High School DxD to Loveru, that rod will stay in his pants. Teia's even chasing Yugi and Yu-Gi-Oh, and his Millennium Rod goes nowhere near her. Learn from your ancestors. These are the building blocks to a brilliant anime protagonist. Even characters with insane power like One Punch Man, he will not bang, and Genos doesn't count. Even Kirito's a sword master that doesn't use his sword. And I stand by what I said. The Aincrad arc in Sword Art Online is actually a genuinely good arc, and Kirito is a genuinely good character in that arc. But then, Sword Art Online goes downhill. I've always said that. And, well, here's the real reason why. After Aincrad, and he actually meets Asuna, they bang! All of a sudden, he loses all credibility in being a protagonist. That's it. A good anime protagonist gets bitches, but not pussy. And you know if he does? Well then, that's sign number 2 for a garbage anime protagonist. And, as a simple proof of this, the protagonist of many ecchi anime is genuinely funny. He's a good character. He's a character that I want to see more of. I mean, look at Monster Musume, High School DxD, to Loveru, High School of the Dead, The World God Only Knows. You have a likable protagonist, surrounded by his harem of bitches that he does not bang even though they want him to. Yet they remain as a good protagonist. Then look at hentai. How many great hentai protagonists are there? Honestly, not so many. Most of them don't even have eyes, goddammit. Terrible personality. Horrible character writing. Ugh. Well, that's sign number 2. Sign number 3 of a garbage anime protagonist, if he has friends. We know that we want a main character that has absolutely zero friends. We want him to amass friends so that he could win every fight with the power of friendship, of course. Wait until sign 5 for that. But if the main character comes into the game already with friends, you know, there is a big problem. Naruto has no friends, gets friends, becomes awesome. Lucy in Fairy Tail has no friends, joins Fairy Tail, becomes awesome. Okay, not really, I'm just saying that to fit the theme here. Lucy sucks balls. Literally. Yugi, originally he's bullied by Joey and Tristan, but he's very good at card games, so makes friends due to blackmail, becomes awesome. Then, of course, this power of friendship can be activated. You must understand the importance of not having friends before entering an anime. If an anime character has friends right when you start, well, then you have no hope. Us weebs are watching anime because we probably don't have friends. Now, again, I'm not speaking for all of you. I'm sure some of you have friends. I mean, some of us have friends. But let's make believe some of us don't. Just, you know, for those of you who don't, it nothing to do with me or anything, of course. This is purely for you. I mean, obviously. But being that you're a lonely otaku weeb with no friends, you're gonna watch this anime and it's gonna inspire you. You're gonna relate to this loser anime protagonist with no friends who will eventually make friends and then get superhuman feats because of these friends that he's made with the power of friendship, and that's amazing. Now, you will never be able to disprove that because you'll never have friends in a way that you can use that friends to have power of friendship and become awesome. So again, since you don't know what power of friendship is like, you can never disprove prove if it's not actually accurate, and thereby you have no way to gauge if the anime is realistic or not. But let's not get into sad, mopey futures. We're optimists here, because by watching this anime and watching even stuck-up losers like Naruto make friends, we have a chance as well. And if someone pops into the anime already with a large friend group, well then, that immediately disassociates him with us badass viewers, and that is terrible. And have you noticed that it's actually low-key kind of sad that the depiction for weebs and the stereotypes of weebs being lonely virgins without friends is perpetuated by anime itself? Anyway, just a random thought. I mean, but look at someone like Naruto. He had a friend in Sasuke. Sasuke hated him, but I guess you could consider him a friend. Or Bakugo and Deku. Bakugo hated Deku, but I guess that's sort of a friendship thing going on there. I mean, we're all used to getting hated by our wink wink friends. And even more importantly than any of that, you have to realize at the end of every single major battle, the real thing that was gained from the entire war, all the fights and bloodshed, were the friends you made along the way. That is the secret answer behind literally everything. So, yeah, if he already had friends before starting the anime, well then the friends he made along the way aren't gonna be all that special, are they? So, again, if an anime protagonist already has friends before starting the anime, and when I say friends, I mean friends. I don't mean that one degenerate retard that tags along eating ice cream behind him or whatever. I mean real friends. If he has real friends, that's a sign for a garbage anime protagonist. And if you want to say, but Nux, if you look at Bleach, Ichigo had friends before the anime started. I mean, he had Chad. Chad was an absolute Chad. And he had Orihime, who had like this crazy healing power that even the Arankars wanted, so they captured her, and damn, he had friends before the anime started. Well, first of all, you're assuming Ichigo's a good anime protagonist, and hey, that's neither here nor there. More importantly, these friends were completely discarded because they were both completely useless. Characters like Uryu or Rukia, or even Renji or Grimmjow, they were eventually semi-friendified throughout the anime's run. The friends that he had before the anime started, well, yeah, Chad was great. He had all these epic attacks that he was able to say in Spanish to scare off his opponents before his opponents completely annihilate him. He was useful. And Orihime, she was captured by the Arankars, and she ended up not doing anything at all except for be a damsel in distress for Ichigo to save. So yeah, I guess the slight proviso in having friends from before the anime starts, the protagonist can have them if they're completely useless and add nothing to the story except for potentially cleavage. But let's not forget to fall back to sign 2. He cannot bone her. Also, once we're talking about boning Bleach characters, Nell is best girl. Screw both Rukia and Orihime. This isn't even a debate. Just felt like saying that. Sign number 4, and sign number 4, you must realize, is all encompassing. And this is talking about the fights anime protagonists get into. Now, if you're talking romance anime, well then these fights, I guess, will be with other characters and more trivial things than, you know, world domination. But in action type anime, especially in the shonen genre, the fights need to follow a very strict set of rules, and if they fall out of these bounds, it is a sign for a garbage protagonist. Rule number 1, the protagonist can never completely lose a fight. If the protagonist loses a fight, you may think, hey, that's great. It gives us hope that we can get up again as well, that we can keep pushing ourselves. No, none of that. The protagonist can get knocked down. The protagonist can potentially lose a battle, provided that it's a final battle and it's a hurdle that they will cross the next time this battle takes place. Naruto versus Sasuke has a big climactic moment at the end of Naruto Season 1. Totally justified for Naruto to lose, because at the end of Naruto Shippuden, Naruto wins. Every single sports anime ever, in the final episode of the first season, the team that you're following will lose and be all upset that they lost the entire championship only to win in the next season. All that totally justified. If it's not a final match that will be overcome by the end of the next season, the main character is not allowed to lose. Even if it'll take Naruto farting on Kiba or Asta getting a draw in the tournament arc so he can't go up against Yuno where he would have gotten slaughtered, protagonists can't lose a fight. You may think it's good, you may think it builds character, but nah fam. No matter how much of an underdog he is, he can't lose a fight ever. Even in Yu-Gi-Oh! The only 2 duels that Yami lost was first against Raphael in the Orichalcos arc, which was filler, and which is why Yugi's character was garbage in that arc, because he was a protagonist that lost, of course. And the other time Yami lost was when he dueled Yugi. Yugi being a more de facto protagonist than Yami, so therefore his protagonist abilities reign forth and grab victory, and that was was an epic duel because the protagonist actually won. Protagonists are not allowed to lose ever, unless, of course, it's so they could win the rematch in a grand finale that counts for way more. Even Kirito. Kirito's praised as an overpowered character. People don't like him because he wins every fight. Bloody-dabby-daddle. Yeah, of course he wins every fight. He's an anime protagonist. He's supposed to win every single fight. Well, he did lose once. He lost against Heathcliff, but, well, he was still solid because, as you know, he fought against Heathcliff in the finale of the Aincrad arc and took the W. It doesn't matter if there's plot armor or power of friendship or whatever the hell he uses as long as he takes the W. You may consider it lame to the point of predictable, and yes, that is exactly what anime is aiming to be. Remember rule number 1? You're not allowed to be original ever. So as long as you follow these steps, things should be going all right. Now, I'm glad that we've established the protagonist is not allowed to lose a fight, and even though losing a fight would sometimes make the show better and make us all more excited, leaving us on the edge of our seats for every single battle, that's irrelevant because it's far more important to make the protagonist win everything, eliminating suspense, and instead being able to sell more figurines of the main character, who is even more badass now. Dude, Naruto's the underdog character that was supposed to suck in the beginning, and he won every single fight. Whether it was Haku, Kiba, or Neji. Deku's the underdog character who's supposed to lose stuff, but he also won every fight until he fought Bakugo, so Bakugo could win, so he could have that massive fight against him way later and actually take the #1 hero ship in a fight that counts for way more, because that's kind of how Deku works. Same with Ichigo getting bodied by Aizen, so he could take down Aizen later. Ichigo getting bodied by Grimmjow, so he could take down Grimmjow later. The protagonist is only allowed to lose where it makes you feel like there's a suspense, when in actuality there wasn't, because you knew it was going to be setting up a final match where he would actually be victorious. And secondly, in regards to protagonist fights, the protagonist has to win with brute force. He is not allowed to win with strategy. Now, some of you may be thinking that that's ridiculous. Some of you may be thinking you even prefer when the main character actually uses strategy. And to that I say, nay! How can you show that the main character has grown and progressed after all of these million episodes of training arcs, chopping down waterfalls and stuff, if he wins with petty strategies? And Luffy is one of my favorite examples of this. Before almost every single arc, there's some form of strategy going on where they're going to infiltrate something and do something epic in order to cause something happen so they can do something dope. I mean, look at the Wano arc that's going on right now. I'm not going to spoil it for anime onlys, but Law has this whole plan that he's been concocting forever, teaming up with samurai, causing rebellions and shiz, and Luffy's like, I'm gonna go punch Kaido. Yeah, Luffy, really smart. The Straw Hats had one job, and that was keep your heads down until the rebellion. The Straw Hats did the freaking opposite. Strategies and anime protagonists just don't fly. When Naruto's gonna beat his opponent, Naruto's gonna go Nine-Tailed Fox Sage Chakra Rasengan farting God mode or whatever to take them down. Strategies, my ass. I mean, even strategies that are given to protagonists on a silver platter, they are not allowed to use them. Deku's fighting Shinso in the tournament arc of My Hero Academia. Ojiro, otherwise known as Tail Guy for those of you who aren't mega weebs, tells Deku do not answer his question. If you answer his question, he will mind control you and you will lose. So Deku, instead of following the plan and not answering his question, he answers his question, gets mind controlled, uses plot armor to break out of the mind control, and with brute force manages to judo flip the schnizzle out of Shinso, winning the fight. That is the signs of brilliant protagonists. We don't want our protagonists to win with strategies because then we don't know how far they've come. We don't know if the power of friendship that they garnered up till this point is actually worth anything. So, sign number 4 of a garbage anime protagonist: if they lose insignificant fights, unless it's to set up an epic rematch where they will win and win it all. And clause 2, in their victories, they must be the most straightforward fights ever, where they win with brute force. If an anime character actually loses a fight or wins with a strategy, then that is sign number 4 of a garbage anime protagonist. Are you here to see these characters think? Well, then watch a chess anime. We're here to watch Deku United States of dick slap his opponents and Naruto to fart out some Rasen shurikens, okay? People want to see Goku strategizing. God damn it. We don't want to see him strategizing. We want to see him yelling. God, what is with these people? Anyway, sign number 5, and this one's pretty straightforward. If the main character does not have an extremely sad backstory, you just know he's gonna be a garbage character. And of course, the tragic backstory has to be equal in magnitude to the power system that they're actually having in the series. If it's a sports anime, well then a parent just needs to be missing, or a parent needs to be dead, or someone got a sprained ankle in the past or something and it messed up his whole childhood. That's totally fine for a sports anime. If we're talking superhero superhero anime, well then, someone needs to be killed by a villain, become a villain, killed in the name of justice, I don't know, something like that. Parents need to be a mystery. Parents need to be killed sealing a demon in their kid. Parents need to be the leader of a revolutionary army if you want to be a pirate, or if you're Dragon Ball and it's power scaled to blowing up freaking universes, your goddamn race needs to be annihilated. Oh, the Sharingan's strong? Well, we're gonna wipe out your entire clan. Oh, you want to be the strongest monster? Well, then you're gonna be the guy that rooted for monsters that lost fights in your childhood and you got bullied because of it. Yeah, that's right. Garo's the protagonist of One Punch Man. If we're not crying for the protagonist, then why are they even the protagonist anyway? Extra points if the protagonist's entire circle of friends all have tragic backstories. That just goes to show that it's the beginning of an amazing cast. I mean, Black Bulls, each of them freaking tragic. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to see. None of this lovey-dovey grew up in a happy house. Who wants to see a character that grew up in a happy house? We're gamers, goddammit. An oppressed group of people, and we can only relate to an oppressed group of people. Uchiha clan? Pfft. All the Saiyans getting wiped out? I laugh. Gamers, rise up. Hit that subscribe button for the very educational upcoming video, 5 early signs of a garbage anime villain. Also, smash that like button because 15,000 likes and that video will come out within a week. Now that's incentive, fam. Not, oh, if I get 15,000 likes, I'll eventually make that video maybe in like 45 years when none of you care. No, within a week, fam. 15,000 likes. Let me know in the comments what you want in the future altogether, be it anime analysis or satire or whatever the hell this was. It was satire if you didn't get it. Link in the description to my Twitter. Feel free to follow me there. Link in the description to the Rant Cafe Podcast that I co-host weekly. It's on its own YouTube channel, Twitch, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, literally everything. Check it out. As well as a link to my Patreon. All patrons are invited to the Discord server, and you really help make what I do possible. I especially wanted to thank David and Ole, Burning Bush, Rise Warren, Sage of Snake, Wilson Fletcher, Team Sparky65, Nemo, Lazy Ronan, Girthy Worm, Jin, Chunky Nibbles, Allison Stricker, Rockamaru, The Wolf of Gar, JD Fincher, Q-Tippy Laser, Shin, Ravy Landex, Starry Nick, Kevin McCline, Jordan, Junger, White Noise 32, Talon, Bestis, Dilf Cross, Mitchell Garnett, Miriam Ramirez, Trigreen, Hamas the Great, Because Hashirama Sells, Ian Martin, Praise Lord the Gilgameshu, Billy Thompson, Serial Flex Offender, Shinon, Lord Sasho Maru, Kid Ori, JJ Slaybrams, The Night Bright, Sergeant Malarkey, LJ Kaiser 1 Hour, Alias Anden Soko, Professor Scythe, Nothing But a Fan, Divine Reigns, Hexile, Teakui, Skylar Leg, some guy named Bob, Samuel Guzman, Burning Halo, Los Polos Hermanos, Juan Centeno, Karma, King Rainbow, Jeffrey Baltazar, and thanks to the Lord Tweeger rank, Steelers, Chubbs is the Man, Nocturus 13, Matthew Yang, Zach Klapperick, Pod 6 was Jerks, Elliot Gonzalez, Rari, Soza Nerdified, Petite Dilf, Everest, The Ninth Master, Christopher Smith, and Typical Anime. Thanks to the Gadusap rank, Dark Element, Eduardo Flores, Poozerker, MD Steve, Skyflight 44, Kana, Maurice Luis Dreyfus, and Esposito. And thank you to Steve and Gintama for Life for having Hashirama cells. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy, and I hope you learned something new. Have yourselves the most wonderful evening, whether you learned something or not. Can't imagine how you wouldn't from this intellectual mastery. But remember to stay weird, fam.